Here we go. Skeleton Crew. Okay. Now, Disney Star Wars has disappointed us a lot recently. Ahsoka was probably one of the more medium good types of shows, but they've done a lot worse. Boba Fett, pretty terrible. Easily the worst. Next to Acolyte. Debatable. Between those two, very debatable. Ahsoka, kind of strong in the start. Really not. Some of the Anakin stuff was cool. I'll give him that. Mandalorian, everybody agrees, first season, 2 seasons, very good. Third season, not so much. Now, with all that, Obi-Wan, people are not to expect very good things from Disney Plus Star Wars, in my opinion. I mean, generally, people don't like it, including myself. Oh yeah, no, the Acolyte, dude. I wanted to drop out after 2 episodes, but the nerd in me kept me going, trying to think that it would all make sense and be good, but it really wasn't. Then, so we hear about this show called Skeleton Crew, and no one is excited. I mean, there's a few of us. We hear John Watts did great with Spider-Man, but generally, things on Disney Plus, everything except Andor, which is easily one of the best things Disney has, or Star Wars has done since the original trilogy. But so the bar, it was low. My expectations were very low, and that might have been a benefit to this, but I freaking love Skeleton Crew. All right. It blew me away with just how much I enjoyed watching these kids go through this Goonies-esque adventure. It had heart. In the first 15 minutes, these kids are playing with lightsabers, like fake phantom lightsabers with each other. And the whole show is as if it was from the perspective of a Star Wars fan as a kid. It's putting these kids in a Star Wars universe where they're able to treat the mythology we know of the Jedi. Yo, Lucas, what's up? So this show with this mythology, it's in universe, but they capture that same sort of spirit as we did, as we played with lightsabers as kids. And this show, man, first of all, starts off on this weird suburban planet. No one really knows what's going on. It looks cookie cutter. It's cool. But to start, I was already super hesitant to this show. So when it starts I'm seeing streets of houses, there's school buses, whatever. The kid's hover bike has tassels on it. It felt very foreign for Star Wars. Not foreign to us, but, very different for the Star Wars universe. But getting into it, man, they took the Goonies, Stranger Things vibes, frickin' E.T., all those vibes, and John Watts has started off these 2 shows with just an absolute banger. I'll say my favorite thing from the show was the droid that shows up at the end of the first episode, and he's in the second one a lot. This droid Smee, SM-33. It's a callback to Peter Pan, the Captain Hook's right-hand man. He the guy named is Smee, but the robot SM-33, real clever. But shoot, man, I was just blown away by how much fun I was having watching the show. It was such a breath of fresh air. I think the lack of expectations I had going in, I really expected nothing. I expected it to suck. And so that might have helped, but it just transcended whatever I thought it was going to be, because this is the exact kind of show Star Wars needs. All these other shows, they've been a half-baked attempt at capturing a spirit of Star Wars, but using cheap tricks, man. Even with like Boba Fett, they literally, it's not enough just to have the character. You have to embody what the character is, and you just, a lot of these shows like The Acolyte, Boba Fett, Obi-Wan, they just take these Star Wars characters and make a story that is nothing like what we had seen in the Star Wars universe. You know, it's all these creators just having their own vision for their own show, and they get the opportunity to do so. It's like, oh, if you just use Obi-Wan or Boba Fett, you can make whatever show you want. Just use those characters. That's not what they did here. They took no character that we had ever seen before in Skeleton Crew and put them in a planet that we had never seen. You're right, the Acolyte did suck. And so they put them in a planet we had never seen. We don't know any of these characters. Literally nothing is familiar to us. Yet it captures that spirit of Star Wars, not because cheap tricks or callbacks or anything like that, but they were able to capture the mythology of Star Wars and treat it with respect. These kids are treating Star Wars like how we would want to treat Star Wars. And they take a new story, a new approach, and it's just, I mean, yes, of course, they're using tropes of these Amblin Entertainment movies, these Spielberg-esque movies, it feels very familiar to us, while it's at the same time completely not. But yeah, you guys, Kathleen is, I'll get into that in a different video, but I'm going to try to stay somewhat on track here. But with Skeleton Crew, I mean, Jude Law, I mean, I'm pretty sure we saw, he was the guy at the start of the first episode, the captain guy. That was pretty cool. I think I could hear Jude Law's voice in there a little bit, but he only showed up at the very end. And so the end of the, I don't want to get into too many spoilers here, so I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but Jude Law was only even in it for the first, for 1 minute at the end of that first episode. And so even without the biggest actor on the show, who we haven't even seen do pretty much anything yet, this show has blown itself. Like right now, this show is sitting, if I had to rank it, it would be above everything except Andor, obviously, and above, and I still have Mando above it, but there's a chance the show could elevate above Mandalorian for me, just because while I do think Mando did have a lot of originality and a lot of really good stuff, it still kind of relies on these cheap tricks. And I loved seeing Luke Skywalker show up in Mandalorian, but they were just, it's less of a show. And like Mandalorian, it went from being this episodic thing where you're seeing these cool little tales of him going all these different planets, which I really liked. But then by the third season of it, it's like that is inexistent. And it's like this overarching story that they tried to like put together. They put an episode in Boba Fett of it just being bad, whatever. But Skeleton Crew, even in its first 2 episodes, we haven't even seen the main actor yet. It's created so much mystery and intrigue. Like there's this planet at Aten, and this isn't really a big spoiler, but these kids basically, they find a spaceship, they go off onto their own and get blasted into space. They'd never been out in outer space before, and we realize that they'd been secluded on this planet because there's like a barrier or something blocking ships or transmissions from coming in and out of the planet. So these kids, they blast off through this planet, end up somewhere, and they end up at this pirate ship docking area, and they have these credits. The kid's dad gave him some lunch money, right? And he uses these credits to purchase, to pay somebody off as like a tip, and the guy goes like ballistic. And these credits are not New Republic credits, not Empire credits. They're old Republic credits. They call them Republic credits. So we find out that this planet has been so secluded from the rest of the universe that they're using old Republic currency. And so that, and apparently all these pirates think that the planet they're on at Aten is some kind of legend. Like they don't think the planet's real. It's like some treasure island thing. And that's just sick. And anything that references the old Republic, I'm all in on, man. Shout out to the SWTOR fans out there. But so yeah, I don't want to get into spoilers, but I kind of did. But yeah. So episodes 1 and 2, complete banger, complete banger. You know, I heard other people online saying it was boring or that they didn't like the kids. I I can see some of those criticisms, but the people saying it's boring, it's like, what do you want to see? These are the same people who have said everything Disney has made is bad. And I'm not completely, they've made a lot of bad stuff, but you have to give them credit where credit's due, man. And you can't say something's boring when A, you haven't really finished it, and then you're just like, you follow it up with being boring by saying everything Disney makes sucks. I don't like any of it. Kathleen Kennedy sucks. These people are pretty biased, to say the least. But you know, I'm really looking forward. So now I'm going to think about going ahead. What I think, I could be wrong, but I think there's 8 episodes of this show in total. So we've got, or there might be 6. It's either 6 or 8. So we either got like 4 or 6 more to go. And I'm really looking forward to it. I think that this planet they're on, I can't tell exactly if it was they've been staying purposefully hidden from the Empire, or if they just have been in this sort of like secluded state for so long that they've seriously still think the Republic is going on and they're still just secluded. So I don't know. But so looking forward on that show, I think we can expect good stuff. And I was just going on about cheap Star Wars chicks, but I think there's a good chance we could see someone like Han Solo. Like, you know, this show takes place, I think, like 5 years after Return of the Jedi. So Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, Leia, all these people are still big players in this thing. And I could just, yeah, I'd love to see something like that as long as the story doesn't rely on it. And yeah, SWTOR's cinematics are the best thing since the prequels. Okay. But, all right. I might touch more on the Skeleton Crew later, but going on. So, Creature Commandos. Creature Commandos came out on the 5th. And I'll just say it. I thought it was just okay. This is like kind of the soft start of James Gunn's DCU. You know, in next year we have Superman coming out, which is like rebooting the entire DC cinematic universe. They're maintaining some canon of like the newer Suicide Squad movie we made, the Peacemaker show. That stuff is sticking around, and they say what James Gunn has commented that whatever they reference from those movies is canon, but if they don't say anything, not necessarily canon. And so, okay, that was interesting. And then he came out saying that with this show, Creature Commandos, anything they reference is canon. And so, getting into the show, bring back Henry Cavill. I loved Henry Cavill as Superman, but if they're doing a new thing, we need a new Superman. You know, we can't, as much as I like Zack Snyder, and I'm not saying this is all his fault or anything, but those latter DC movies really, really kind of shit the bed. I like Frank Grillo getting work on Creature Commandos, but even better that he is flagged DCU. Yeah, that's super true. So Frank Grillo is voicing Rick Flag, who was the father of I'm forgetting the Flag from the Suicide Squad, the guy that Peacemaker killed. And so this guy is going to be he's in Creature Commandos as the lead. He's going to be in Peacemaker playing the same character, and he's going to be in Superman playing the same character. So that's pretty cool. Apparently, he was supposed to have white hair for the shooting of Superman and Peacemaker, like he does in this show. It's him right here. But because like Grillo was filming something, I think it was like whatever that Stallone show is. I haven't given it a watch. Oh yeah, Justice League was terrible. Even the Zack Snyder's my hot take: Zack Snyder's Justice League was just as bad as Justice League. It was terrible. It did not. It just added more bad scenes. It was like, wow, this 2-hour movie I watched is now a 4-hour movie, just as bad. So, really didn't change anything. They literally just added all the scenes that even the studio was like, this is too bad. We got to cut this out of the movie now. So you know, there are a lot of Zack Snyder Justice League fans out there, but you know, I'm not one of them. But Creature Commandos, it came out, and you know, I'm not the biggest animation guy. I really liked Invincible. That was great. But this show, there's something about modern animation to me that just like lacks kind of heart. Like the animation style itself, just like I'm not the biggest fan of it. It kind of just like, it's almost like just like cutting between scenes as opposed to like animating these characters. I swear it's like they're doing the thing where they're trying to create like a comic look in animation, but I really don't think we've gotten it down. Movies like Spider-Verse got it, but animation that tries to kind of do that sort of thing where they're making comic book pages on the screen just does not work, in my opinion, unless you're going with the big budget animations like Spider-Verse. But Creature Commandos basically tells a story of Rick Flag. He's got to take over this group of monsters, essentially, to go. There's like some country, like it's like some Kazakhstan type country. It's a fictional one, but there's like a revolution going on there with a bunch of like incel dudes who are working for this like Wonder Woman villain. I think her name is Cersei or some. I think I could be wrong, but and so they hire Rick Flag and they shut down Task Force X, which was the Suicide Squad. They say no more humans can be used in these cruel ways, and so to get around that, Amanda Waller puts together this group of monsters, people who aren't humans, and so what up, Trey? I'll touch base on some other stuff. We got more on this stream going on for sure. So for Creature Commandos, I think it could get better. The second episode was remarkably better than the first. Like the second told this really cool story about the bride, like the Bride of Frankenstein, how she got created. It was cool stuff, good James Gunny stuff, but you know, as far as I'm concerned about DC, all that matters is Batman 2. I agree half somewhat, but what's really cool about DC going forward is that they're maintaining this separate universe. Like they're gonna have the continuity of the DCU with Superman movie, Creature Commandos, the upcoming Supergirl movie, few other stuff, but also they're going to have these Elseworld stories where they have Batman 2, the Penguin. And I'm sure, and they're already like, the people at DC have already come out and said they're going to be continuing to make these other Elseworld stories. So we'll get more Batman. I think we're going to get Batman villain spinoffs specifically, more of those. I'd bet everything they're going to do a Penguin season 2 because that was just too good. But the Batman 2, it's being written now. It takes place like directly after the Penguin 2. And so that should be really cool. Looking forward to that. But yeah, back to Creature Commandos. I thought it was all right. I think I've heard that later episodes are a lot better. You know, there's been some people who have reviewed it that have seen the whole thing. But overall, I think it'll be a somewhat forgettable show. You know, I think it'll do some cool stuff. What's cool about the show is that we'll likely see some of these characters in live action. But Marvel mid AF right now. Yeah. No, Marvel. I'll get more into Marvel in a little. I have a later topic where I can get back into that, but I'll dive into what my opinions on Marvel right now. But Creature Commandos overall, out of 10, I'd give it like a 6. It's not terrible. It's pretty. It's like well made, but it's just like, I don't know. It's not exactly right up my alley. Are they gonna recast them? For Creature Commandos, I think they're gonna be using the same people that they had voicing it, which is cool. Like Frank Grillo, the guy who voices this dude, Rick Flag, he's going to be playing him in live action already. He's already filmed 2 separate live action projects as this character. I do think a 6 is pretty mid. I'd give like the first one, like I'd give the first episode like a 4, and I give the second episode like a 7 though. So it's like, but overall a 6. Kind of forget it. Like some of the, I'd say like the characters are kind of forgettable, but they only focus on a couple of them. I think they're going to be showing us backstories and more of that going on. 0% I watch Creature Commandos ever. Well, yeah, you haven't seen the Penguin yet, dude. So I don't know. I don't know what to say. Overall, Creature Commandos, we'll see. Moving on. Dune Prophecy. When Dune Prophecy got announced, it is kind of like an Invincible vibe. Kind of. I would say it's kind of like Invincible. But Dune Prophecy, I was pretty excited about when they announced this. We were coming off the heat that Dune 2 was, and everybody was hyped on Dune. People were saying Dune 2 is the best movie we've had in a decade. Blah, blah, blah. I love this. Dune Prophecy, I've been real back and forth about. I will say I haven't seen the 4th episode yet. Oh, your uncle produced this? Nice. All right. I will say the 4th episode I haven't seen. Episode 1, I thought was like, I'd give it like a 6.5. I didn't think episode 1 was that good. I thought it was kind of boring. They kind of were like, the lore stuff was sick. I really like all the lore building they do with the Dune universe. But I found myself like more caring about, like, I didn't care about any of the characters or any of the scenes that were going on. I was just like, holy crap, the Butlerian Jihad, the Machine Wars, that's dank. But I think episode 2, I started turning around a bit. It had a really cool plot, the second episode. They've been going for a whole like Game of Thrones aspect on this show. Like there was this huge extended scene with this dude like boning a chick, and she's fully nude the whole time, and it's like he tells her some shit she shouldn't know, and then big stuff gets out. You know, I'm not going to spoil the show, but second episode was really good. The third episode was maybe the most boring episode of TV I've seen in my life. It was just, it was a chore to watch. I was baked, and I didn't even enjoy it. The third episode was so bad. I seen the first like 20 episodes of the 4th one. I'm liking it. I'm gonna finish it tonight. Like the lore and the quality of the second episode, I'm still on board with the show. I'm liking it. Really kind of, it's gotta hit some strides for me right now, but overall, this dude, Ragnar, I forget what his name is in real life. He's a badass. He like got swallowed by a worm or something, like a sandworm, and got some powers. That's all cool. Mark Strong's always good. This chick, I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent on her, but it's cool to see how the sisterhood works. But I keep finding myself, I'm like, Dune is really about Paul Atreides. And so this show takes place 10,000 years before the Dune series. And so I'm kind of, on one hand, like, damn, this is really interesting. It's setting stuff up for Dune, but it's like 10,000 years before. And so I'm like, none of it is really that relevant that I've seen so far to the movie. I can imagine a lot of stuff happens in 10,000 years. But yeah. All right. I don't know. I thought it was pretty good, but overall, like the third episode was just so boring to me. I was like, all right, it's been a chore. I've been like postponing watching the 4th, and I know it just came out like last night. I could have watched it. I think I fell asleep. All right. Now I'm going to move on to the news section. I've got some news for you. All right. First up, we're getting to some Marvel stuff. All right. Quickly, I'll touch on you guys' former comment about the state of Marvel right now. And I agree. They've been in a complete disarray since Endgame. Spider-Man No Way Home was great. Spider-Man Far From Home was great. Like Guardians of the Galaxy was good. I loved Guardians of the Galaxy 3. That was great. Shang-Chi was pretty good. Overall, it's been just like so disconnected. Each movie has been like trying to be this content within this continuity and set up other things, but they've just been like setting up all these threads which nothing has connected yet. Like Deadpool and Wolverine was great, but that was like, it was just like a funny movie. Like it didn't really have any repercussions for anything in Marvel. And I think they've just steered so far away from what was making them good, which was good movies. Like Iron Man wasn't Iron Man because it was connected to all this other stuff. It was Iron Man because it was an awesome movie with a great director and a great actor, and they kicked ass. I will say, however, that I am looking forward to the stuff coming up. I am looking forward to what we have in store with Marvel. And one of the first things coming up is called the Thunderbolts. And I will preface this article is Thunderbolts is heading back for reshoots, and I hope they're adding more Bucky Barnes. That is, I kind of agree. Bucky's awesome. And a lot of people say at first, whoa, reshoots? That means the movie must suck. False. Marvel schedules reshoots into every movie they've done ever. It's always there. They always do reshoots. That doesn't mean that they don't reshoot like half a movie, like with Captain America 4. I'm pretty sure they like reshot that whole movie. That's a whole different. I'm not even gonna get to that one. I'm really cautious about Captain America 4. But Thunderbolts. All right. So Marvel's Thunderbolts is reportedly undergoing reshoots ahead of the 2025 release date. It's one of the 3 Marvel movies set in 2025. Captain America Brave New World. I'm very hesitant about this movie. I think it's going to blow, to be honest with you. Fantastic Four First Steps. I am excited about this. Pedro Pascal, they got good actors. I think it'll really seal the deal if Robert Downey Jr. is in it. I think he is. I think it's going to set up Doomsday a bit. And, then we got Thunderbolts. So apparently the director, Jake Schreier, was seen spotted doing reshoots. No one else has been seen, but yeah, it's pretty obvious they're doing reshoots. What do I think about the reshoots? I don't know. I think, if I had to guess, I think these are probably just their normal reshoots they usually do. I'm not super worried. But on the other hand, I'm not expecting... I think this movie has a chance at being good. The trailer I did like, but everybody knows a good movie trailer doesn't mean it's a good movie. Same with the opposite. But I think it's going to be tough. They have so many different characters in this movie. Red Guardian, Yelena, Bucky. None of which are leading characters. None of them have had their own movie in the past. Like, with movies like Civil War, like half the cast had almost like a trilogy of movies behind them. So people care a lot about these characters. They care about the arcs that they've gone on. And what I'm really curious about Thunderbolts is which one of these characters is going to be anchoring the story. Because I'd say a huge problem. Any X-Men news? Okay. Apparently, Kevin Feige has come out and said that in these next slew of movies prior to Infinity War or Secret Wars, apparently they're going to start dropping some X-Men in it, some mutants that we know. Apparently, they're going to be starting to show up. If I had to guess, I don't think any are going to be in Thunderbolts. I think there's a shot we get one maybe in Fantastic Four. I think we maybe will. I don't think we'll get one in Captain America, but I think we're bound to get some mutants in X-Men. I mean, in the end of the Marvels, which I'm going to be honest, I didn't watch. I heard it was terrible and it looked terrible. I have no excitement to see that movie. I'll probably watch it like on a plane, or if I don't want to watch a paint dry on a wall. But yeah. In the end of that, Beast showed up. You know, we all know Beast. Kelsey Grammer was voicing him, but it was a CGI Beast. You know, so they set that. That's just one of the other things they set up that nothing has happened about yet. So I don't know. Don't know what's happening there. But I think we will. They have said that after Secret Wars, it's going to turn into like the mutant saga. So I think after Secret Wars, it's going to be like the mutants are at the center of the MCU. And I think that's when, instead of Avengers movies, it's going to be like X-Men movies. And the Marvel Universe will completely shift over to that. How they get there, I think they're going to need to build a lot of trust, and they're going to have to do it exceptionally well, because I don't think Marvel will survive in terms of its their movies are going to keep making money, but in terms of the fan base, like they're going to end up getting into a Star Wars situation pretty soon if they don't turn stuff around. Because right now, even the biggest Star Wars fans hate Star Wars right now, and that is never good for a franchise. New Marvel video game, Marvel Rivals. That, I played like a few games of it. It seems cool. It's a complete Overwatch ripoff, like obviously. Like it's basically the same exact game as Overwatch, except it's like Marvel characters. I haven't played enough, but it seems cool. I'm sure my brother would like to play it. But seems cool. But back to Thunderbolts, you know, they got reshoots going on. I'm not going to stick onto this any longer. But, you know, we'll see. Up next, we're going to the world of Westeros. As you guys know, House of the Dragon came out this year. And I liked it a lot. I thought the first half of the season was much stronger than the second half. The first season won the Golden Globe. But get this, guys. Despite the lead actress being nominated for Best Actress, House of the Dragon Season 2 was not even nominated for Best Drama Series at the Golden Globe. Wasn't even nominated. This comes after almost every season of HBO having multiple Emmy winners every season, and now House of the Dragon Season 2 does not even have a Golden Globe nomination. Shocking. I know. We have to ask why. And I think, people were maybe just tired of seeing House of the Dragon, or just the show of Westeros in itself. I think the end of Game of Thrones really soured people. I think the first season of House of Dragon was really good, but it still had a lot of people hating on it. But House of Dragon Season 1 was objectively really good. But Season 2 started off very strong, I thought. And then towards the end, it's like it didn't even have a finale. I heard there was 2 episodes that were supposed to be made that didn't even end up getting made. That is sad. But I think it left us with a very unsatisfying season. And as to why it wasn't winning the best, why it's not even nominated, I think it's just because there was too many other good shows out, guys. Like, I don't know. I didn't watch all of the ones that are being nominated. But along with Shogun, which was fantastic, I recommend it to any of you. It was super awesome to watch. And then The Penguin. The Penguin got nominated. And Colin Farrell got nominated for Best Actor for the Golden Globes, which is super well deserved. But I have to say, House of the Dragon Season 2 next to these other 2 shows, yeah, I don't think it stacks up with them. Like, I really liked House of the Dragon Season 2, and I thought it was awesome. But I simply think this year was just like an insane year for TV. And with a show like Penguin was vastly better than House of Dragon. Like, not even close. It was so much better. And so, yeah, I liked Season 2 a lot more than most people too, but I thought the first couple episodes were awesome, like very episodic. Really good, cool, awesome story, tight. Each episode is satisfying. As the episodes went on towards the end, it was like less episodic and it was just this one drawn out sort of, like, the second half of the season was like one long episode almost, where Damon was just in a haunted house the whole time. And then everybody else kept, from the start of the season, they were like, all right, we're going to war. And then the end of the season is like, all right, we're actually doing it this time. I just think it was overall, I think if they kept the consistency of the first couple episodes, it would have been fantastic. It would have been nominated much better. But I think they really shot themselves in the foot. And I think part of that was due to the writer's strike, whatever. You know, is what it is. Not happening. I'm looking forward to season 3. But the other problem is that they take 2 years between releasing seasons of this. And I think maybe one of the problems was that nobody really cared about House of the Dragon season 2 by the time it came out. Like, when you have 2 years between seasons, all the new fans you picked up are easily going to be gone before that next season comes out. They're not going to want to, like, you have to keep people hooked. You have to keep people watching these shows. Like, the amount of change that happens in 2 years is insane. So it's just ridiculous that they can't somehow get them out with a year in between. But is what it is. I got 2 more news topics. Bear with me. I'm not going to be on for too much longer. But up next, some of my favorite news we've gotten yet. Not this. Chris Evans coming back for Avengers Doomsday. You know, call me crazy, but I could have seen this coming. Not. Everybody did. Everybody knew this was happening. But now, apparently, the rumor is out there. And apparently he's coming back. So I guess, here, we're going to get into this. I'm going to just, yeah, I know. There's not much to say in terms of the story, but yeah, I guess he's coming back. We don't know any details. We don't even know if he's going to be coming back as Captain America, though. That's the thing. I expect he will. I don't think that they're going to do this Avengers Doomsday where they recast Robert Downey Jr. from Iron Man to Doctor Doom, and there's a recast Chris Evans. I don't think that's happening. That would be a terrible idea. I think he's going to play Captain America. If I had to guess, I think this new Captain America movie is going to bomb reception-wise. I think it's going to make some good money, but I think it's, if I had to bet, I think people are going to hate it. Probably justified, so it's probably going to be pretty bad. I mean, I think they had to reshoot for like 6 months. That's pretty gnarly. And I think the fact is, as good as that script could be, it's a Captain America movie without Captain America. Because I don't care what you say, this is Captain America. I like Falcon. I like Sam Wilson. But he's not Captain America. He doesn't have superpowers. He wasn't fucking from World War II. He's just some dude with wings. And now I guess a shield. And while I think the end of Endgame was really cool with how he gave it to him, I think he should have given it to Bucky, man. Bucky was in World War II. He served alongside Captain America. He has superpowers. He has a metal arm. He's his boy. So, say what you will, you know. Looking forward to him coming back. Wouldn't have it any other way. This is Captain America. I think it's going to be good. I think we're getting for some good stuff. And I'm hyped to hear that he's coming back before Secret Wars. I'm jealous of Chris Evans. No shit. I think we all would be jealous of Chris. Yeah, I am. Look at this guy. Look how much money he has. All right. Enough about Chris Evans. We're going on to my favorite story of the day. And guys, this one, for you Clone Wars fans out there, this one's going to hit. Also for the Bear fans out there. Check this out, guys. Jeremy Allen White is joining the Mandalorian and Grogu as Jabba the Hutt's son. And if you remember, he played Jabba the Hutt's son was from the first Clone Wars movie. I'm going to see if they have a picture of him in here. I'll get a picture up right now. This guy. This dude's in Mandalorian and Grogu. I'm not talking about Ukraine. But enough said. I'm gonna Jeremy Allen White. This dude, he started in Shameless, and then he was on that for like a billion years. I think there was like 50,000 seasons of Shameless. I only saw a few of them, but this dude has become super famous recently because of The Bear. He was in The Iron Claw, which was an awesome movie. But I don't know. Let's get into this. I'm interested. He's joined Star Wars as the voice of Jabba the Hutt's son, Rada the Hutt. Plot details are hard to come by, but he is cast as Jabba the Hutt's son. All right, so I'm just gonna theorize on this for a little bit. If this worm baby was a baby during the Clone Wars, when Anakin was around and shit, he's probably gonna be like the normal size of Jabba the Hutt at this point, right? Like he's gonna be a big, like, worm dude. But casting him, dude, this is crazy. Like, this is a big character to cast in a role like this. Or, I mean, obviously he's going to be a voice. I mean, if they just had Jeremy Allen White show up just looking exactly like he does and just say it's Jabba the Hutt's son, well, I think that'd be hilarious. It wouldn't make any sense. And so he's going to be voicing a Hutt. And so, oh yeah, The Bear. I thought I liked it, but yeah, it didn't hook me enough, really. I thought it was just like, it's just like one of those like feel good kind of shows, if you know what I mean. Like, it's like stressful, but then it's just, I don't know. It wasn't exactly my thing, but I can see why people like it. But yeah, he's playing Grotto the Hutt. I'm looking forward to this movie. I'm just going to talk about Mandalorian and Grogu for a little bit. The craziest thing is we haven't gotten a Star Wars movie in 5 years. Disney Plus makes people forget that. But we haven't gotten a Star Wars movie in 5 years. And so this is going to be the first movie to come out since then. I'm excited for it because Mandalorian overall has been pretty awesome. The first 2 seasons were bangers. 3rd season, not so much at all. The Jack Black and Lizzo thing really was just the most ridiculous thing I'd ever seen. But yeah. Nathan. All right, but yeah. I'm excited for this movie, because Jon Favreau's directing it. He brought us Iron Man, he kicks total butt. I don't think we have to worry much on Mandalorian and Grogu. I really think it's just going to be a bunch of super awesome, like, Star Wars action sequences. I think they're just going to go crazy and just do some really badass stuff. And so I'm looking forward to it because it's not really like going to be like connected to much else. I hope they wrap up the Mandalorian story well, but yeah, that's it. Alrighty. Well, that's all my topics for today. Appreciate you guys coming and listening to my live stream. I'm just working out the kinks here. I'm going to totally get this down to a science, but I just need to start rolling, kind of getting a feel for it. But yeah, looking forward to more. I'm going to be live streaming tomorrow night. If you guys want to catch if you guys want to catch up on Skeleton Crew, there's the first 2 episodes are out. Next episode comes out tomorrow. I'm going to be live streaming it tomorrow night. Live reaction, live breakdown. I'm gonna break it down live. I'm gonna bring you guys real insights in real time. So, I'm looking forward to that. But overall, good night. I'm gonna go watch that 4th episode of Dune Prophecy, play some zombies or something. And looking forward to catching you guys in my stream again.